Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. This is a subject that affects countless families across North Texas. We're talking about the Children's Advocacy Center, and this is the Children's Advocacy Center for Denton County. Dan Leal and Dina Oliver she's a volunteer, and it's a serious subject. Tell us, many people probably listening say, I've heard of it before, but I'm not sure what they do. Dan, you want to start?
Sure. So I think, when you talk about child abuse, the first thing their heart sinks, as it should, right? Like, oh, what a tough topic to hear about and talk about. What I really want everybody to think about is the good news of what we're doing at the Children's Advocacy Center. And I think what we're doing is bringing a topic that was once taboo and a secret and bringing it from darkness to light. And so what we do at the Advocacy Center is we work to provide justice and healing for really the bravest children in our community. We surround them with a team, law enforcement, child protective services, our staff of the nonprofit that includes folks that do a child-friendly forensic interview, counselors that provide free counseling for the kids, a number of support services to help that child achieve justice and safety, and then promote their healing with free and professional counseling services.
So, Dina, what drew you to this nonprofit?
A friend of mine invited me to take a tour of the center, and it was a place that I didn't know existed. I wasn't familiar with any of the services they provided. So that was a real eye-opener to me because I'm very involved in the community, and yet to have a place like this, to be completely unaware of it, really sort of was an eye-opener to me. And so once I took the tour, my heart was just really drawn in to the center at that point. When one of the things that really stood out to me was when the child enters into the center, and I can't even imagine the emotions that they're feeling. I mean, the fear and the probably shame, just uncertainty that they and their non-offending family members are feeling. They get to choose a teddy bear that can be sort of their companion as they walk through this journey, which can take 2 years from beginning to end. But then they are taken into the forensic interview room, and it's just they and the interviewer. Law enforcement is on the other side of a two-way mirror with family members, and they record that session. And what I loved about that is the tremendous compassion and wisdom that comes in that decision, so that the child does not have to be taken to the police station and tell their story, and then to an attorney's office and tell their story, and then to the hospital where they're re-traumatized and re-victimized, having to relive that experience as they share those things. I loved that, and the fact that all of these things happen under one roof. So that's just what drew me into wanting to be a part of the healing process for these children.
Absolutely. And Dan, you've been there since 2002. Denton County has probably tripled in that time. So what has happened to the staff? What's happened to the building and your need for funds?
Yeah, sure. So we've tripled in staff size, to accommodate the need, almost a little bit more than tripled in staff size. We built a facility in 2008 to 9 thinking this is going to be great for a long time, and we're going to be good, and we'll have a property in Denton too where we'll do some rental, but this Louisville hub property, this is going to be great. We're good for a while. And then 7 years later, well, really 5 years later, we realized that we were already on the verge of busting at the seams because of the need, the population growth, as you mentioned, and more kids and families and awareness that are seeking our help. And so obviously with growth comes the need for funding and support. And I thank you, Jeff, and your family and 1190 and everybody involved for just bringing that awareness, because as Dina said, the awareness has been very low for us and our counterparts around the Metroplex.
So you have a gala coming up, and people can support you through that as well as just writing a check, I imagine.
Yes, we have our Big Champions for Children Gala, which started 7 years ago with a vision of a family that was once on our board, Mike and Ann LaCusta, and it has evolved tremendously. Dina is the co-chair of the event, and she can tell you what makes it, I think, the premier fundraising event in at least Denton County.
It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited about it. This year, the theme is going to be Darkness to Light, and so it'll be a black and white affair. one thing, it's kind of evolved in the last year and this year. Besides just having an amazing evening for our attendees, because we want them to have fun. We have wine tasting. We have several local chefs doing past appetizers and hors d'oeuvres. Circle R Ranch is going to do a wonderful steak dinner for us. So a lot of fun things. But we have added to that sort of an educational aspect to the gala, because our attendees are those who we want to leave with a very solid idea of what the center does and how their sponsoring, how their donations contribute to our work with the children, and how that helps to bring justice, how many dollars it takes to provide one counseling session for a child. And so last year we had a program that it was only 3 minutes long, but it was incredibly impactful in helping them understand how their dollars make everything happen.
And give us the date and how people can register.
March 25th, which is a Saturday, is the date of the gala, and they can go to the website, cacdc.com.
Or .org, either
.org.
one, cacdc.org or .com, and registration right now. We even found a neat way, and this is kind of an organization that people have never heard about. We have Friends of the Kids, and they're called BACA, and that stands for Bikers Against Child Abuse. This is a worldwide organization of tough-looking motorcycle people who support the kids as they go to court. And they were a big hit last year at the gala because they were involved in the auction and squeezed the teddy bear, and we were auctioning off teddy bears. So imagine all these big burly bikers in the middle of this. Everybody's dressed up in suits and they're in their leathers, right? But they really support the kids, are an important extension of what we do at the Advocacy Center.
I think that's really cool. So the capital campaign, are you going to build a new facility or add on to the one you have, or what's the plan?
The hope is to, the plan is to add on. So we are in a 14,000 square foot renovated, or actually a build-up facility. We built it from the ground up in 08-09, and we're looking to add 11, renovate 3. It's a 14,000 square foot project, and in fact, we're on kind of a little bit of a deadline because we have 60 days to raise $200,000 to get to the halfway mark so that a foundation will kick in their funds. So it's a real critical time. Now, the gala is going to completely support, from our perspective, operations unless it exceeds those expectations. But we really need support both for the direct services to the kids, and then with the capital, it's to expand capacity to serve more and more kids and families in Denton County.
Well, I haven't had the pleasure of a tour yet. Dina, you said that's what really touched your heart. Describe the facility that you're currently in and what you do to make children feel comfortable, because this has got to be a scary thing for them to do.
I think, as I said, when they first enter the room, they get to choose a teddy bear, and just having that companion along with them. BACA's involvement in the teddy bear is really phenomenal. What they do is they have 2 BACA members essentially crush the bear between them and fill it with hugs and power. And so that child is then given this bear. And if they ever feel that the bear no longer has courage or power to get through what they're walking through, they can call up their primary BACA member, and that BACA member will come and retrieve the bear, take it to their meeting, refill it with power and hugs, and then they give it to the child again. But
very cool.
Everyone involved, the social workers, the police officers, the nurses, the clinicians who do the therapy, everyone they're an expert in their field. And again, they're so good at dealing with these wounded hearts of children. Just the compassion that they pour out to them.
Absolutely.
I think, and also we have a 96% conviction rate.
Sure, yeah, that's one of the kind of the results of our work as a team, bringing this and adding expertise, is that we've been able to hold many more offenders accountable for hurting kids that otherwise would not have been held accountable because of the repetition of their story. And then the healing is amazing. In fact, one of our kids, she's not a kid anymore, she's 29 years old. Her book, and she's given me permission to share her name, Jenna Quinn, just came out 5 weeks ago, and it's called Pure in heart, and it is now available for purchase. And it is just one example of showing how healing really does take place through the work of the Children's Advocacy Center.
You provided me with some information to prepare for this segment, and I saw one statistic that 90% of abused children know their abuser. So it's not like snatching a child off the street.
Right.
No, and I mean, we're not saying don't protect your children from strangers. By no means are we saying that. We want you to be protective. And, of course, the online stuff is a new thing, right? I mean, well, it is for me, being my age. But, I mean, a new thing as far as the awareness and the proactivity of protecting your kids there. But over 90% of those kids are sexually abused by someone they know and trust because of the grooming process that takes place by these people who are close to the kids. So we just want families to be open with their conversations, to not make talking about body parts or bodies or safety or uncomfortable. I mean, make your household safe to talk about such topic, and so that kids will be aware that they can talk to their own family or trusted adults about something they're uncomfortable with.
Typically, is the abuser shaming the child or somehow coercing the child?
Absolutely. And so isolating the child so that the child doesn't feel safe to make their outcry. So when that child finally does find the courage to tell someone, and that's why training and awareness is so near and dear to my heart. The center not only is transforming the lives of the children that have been abused and their non-offending family members, but the center is transforming the lives within our community, because we desperately need everyone in our community to have open eyes, open ears, to be able to spot the signs of sexual abuse. So we have 4 different training sessions, and I think most of them are only 30 minutes long. I think one is 1 hour long, but you can either come to the center for these training sessions, or we will come to you. We want to make it as easy as possible to educate our community and to raise awareness of how to spot the signs of child abuse, and then if you see them, how to wisely respond and get the children and their families the help that they need.
Wow, what an amazing and powerful segment. Again, the gala is coming up when, and how can they register?
So it's March 25th, not too far away.
Last Saturday of March.
Yeah, and so like we said, the online registration, we are, of course, still looking for sponsorships. It is a dynamic event, biggest auction in town, and just a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
We'll have to have you back. Well, coming up next, to change your body, you have to change your mind first. A body burn boot camp is coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
You're listening to the Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.